Hi everyone, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this absolutely beautiful card. This is featuring a free stamp set that you can earn during celebration, which runs only through March 31st. So it's March 31st of 2018. This will be ending soon. You can get this for free with a $50 purchase. It's a beautiful stamp set, and you can see it's very, very detailed, and it does actually show up that way when you stamp it. So don't mind my smudges. We're going to make a cleaner one here. This is using what's called a triple time technique. So basically, you're going to be stamping all three of the white pieces together, and then you're going to layer them onto a coordinating layer. And you can certainly skip and do this in any color whatsoever. It'd be absolutely beautiful. This is a really beautiful card even to do in black and white, as you can see here. Or if you wanted to do more of a sepia tone, you could use either soft suede or early espresso. But it's a really pretty card to do tone on tone. So let me show you how to do it. What you're going to do is I will put all the blog measurements for all these. This was actually a card that I cased from Tammy White. It's a beautiful card. So this one is layering to the side, but you could also do the same if you wanted to have three different ones centered in the middle instead of to the left. So I have a base of fresh fig, and that's the coordinating color we're going to use today, fresh fig. And then I have these three layers. So I have three layering pieces of fresh fig. And then I have three pieces of Whisper White. And again, I'll give you all the measurements later. Now you can do this two different ways. You can either do it so you're going to just lay your three pieces, and they can be spaced however far apart you'd like them. You could, if you'd like, you could take a little bit of snail adhesive and put it on the back. That way it sticks together exactly, but I feel confident enough that I think I'm going to be able to do it okay without that. So I have my Fresh Fig ink. And this is a really quick and easy card to make, but also has a really big impact. So it's very fun to make as well. So what we're going to do, just move this out of the way. I'm just going to grab my block, and I'm going to mount this onto my block. This is available in clear or wood mount, but I like clear because I'm able to store a lot more stamps easier that way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my ink pad upside down, and I'm going to put it onto my stamp, and I'm going to just kind of turn it around. That way I don't get any lines in my stamp. And as you will see, I'm going to bring this up and show you. This has a beautiful detail to it. So it's very, very detailed, even though it looks completely flat. So it's very deceiving as to what it's going to look like on the card. So then I'm going to just take this and flip it over, and I'm going to kind of put it a little bit askew. And I'm going to just press down. This would be a great stamp to use also with the Stamparatus if there is any way that you thought you might not ink it all the way the first time. So I'm going to just hold my three pieces of paper here with my finger and pull this up, and it's beautiful. So you'll see, now when you do stamp this, this is a little unnerving to some people because they're like, oh, but I have that layer there, and there's this big gap. But it's okay because you're going to actually layer these onto something, so they're going to cover up just nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my three layering pieces. Just going to scoot these over, and I'm going to save this one. Actually, I'm not going to save this one because what I'm going to do differently is I'm going to put a whole panel back there. So I'm going to put the thank you off to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some Fast Fuse or Snail, your choice, and just put this right here. And then I'm going to layer each piece onto its layer. Just like that. I don't want to touch it too much yet because it might still be a little bit wet. And same with the middle piece. Just going to layer it right on the center. And then this piece only has a little bit on it, but it's okay. I don't really mind it being a slight bit off. So if you wanted to make sure that you had more on it, just want to make sure that you move your stamp over a little bit farther so you have more to layer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little bit of adhesive here, and I'm going to layer my second layer onto my bottom layer. So just like that. So it matches up and it completely covers up that little crazy wrinkly spot that we were worried about. Same with this one. I'm going to take this and I'm going to layer it right over top. Just like so. So now you have your three layers, so it looks like your stamp goes through. And you could also do this with not just this. You could do this with a variety of flowers. So if you had more than one flower, you could do it with that. You could do it with the dragonfly pieces. Another really great one would be the birthday bloom stamp set, because this has a really large flower. And then what you could do is you could stamp this and you could color it in with your Stampin' Blends, or you could color it in with your Stampin' Write markers, or you could color it in with your watercolor pencils. Either way would be really beautiful, but this is a nice large image that you will be able to put on there and do the triple time technique with as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and I'm going to grab, just quickly, I'm not sure if that's going to cover. Let me grab a little white layer. So I have a whisper white layer, and I want to just show you one other thing we're going to do. We're going to also take, I have a little craft knife here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my craft knife, and I'm just going to make a little slit here right in the fold where I scored it. I think that's big enough. Just make it just a hair bigger. And honestly, if it's a little bit bigger, it's okay. It's not really going to move. Close this up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ribbon through there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and score this. It's scored, I should say. I'm going to fold it with my bone folder. And just this little piece here I'm going to pull off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, now I used this ribbon earlier, and I want to show you what I did, is I grabbed this. This is the silver edged metallic, so it's silver edged metallic edge ribbon. It's a really, really pretty ribbon. This is white, and you can color it with any color that you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Stampin' Blend, and this is the dark smoky slate. You could use the light if you wanted to, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this on my marker, or on my ribbon, sorry about that, just like that, just down. You can make it as dark or as light as you'd like. And you can also color this. A lot of people like this ribbon because you can color it any color that you like. Okay, let me just see if this is enough. Oh, give me one more. Oh. And I'm doing this with the brush tip just because it fills in a little bit faster. A little bit more. And then what I did was I just tied a little faux knot in this, and it pretty much does dry instantly. It'll be just a hair bit cool and wet because it is an alcohol marker. So what I did is I'm going to feed this through, right through this little hole that we created. And you could do this with your paper piercer if you needed to, but it's pretty simple to do. And I'm going to trim this off. Oops. And I'm going to make just a little knot here. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can skip this if you wanted to. You could also add a little faux ribbon on if you wanted to as well. So I'm going to make just a little knot here. Just like that. Okay, and then before I finish, I do want to add my white panel. And if you didn't like the placement of the knot, so for example, if you want to move it up right now, you could. You're just going to pull this through more, and then your knot could be up top if you like. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to eyeball where I want to put my sentiment. And this has some really pretty sentiments in as well. Heartfelt thoughts, thank you, thinking of you. So I'm going to kind of just line this up and see where I want it. So what I might do is, and you could omit the ribbon, like I said, completely if you wanted to. And the way this is, the way I stamped this image, I think I'm going to omit it, and I'm actually going to put it on the inside instead. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this down. Just going to put some fast fuse on the panel here. And this white panel just kind of gives like a little extra touch to the front. You can leave it out if you'd like. Completely your choice. Just decide where you want your ribbon to be, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a little bit of fast fuse here on the back. Try to keep it in as straight of a line as you can. Oops. Because you don't want it too tight. And more so, I want to make sure that it's straight in the front. So even if it's slight bit off here in the back, that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is just take my scissors and trim this off. Okay, just like that. And then if you have any adhesive that you've kind of overmarked, you can just rub it with your fingers and it will ball up and come right off. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these to the front. But I think I'm actually going to pop these up on dimensionals just for a little bit of a different look. So I'm going to just grab a couple Stampin' Dimensionals. And again, this card can be as simple or as involved as you want it to be. Completely up to you. Do one more. And then what we'll do is we'll grab another panel for the inside and we'll put our sentiment on there. But this would be a beautiful, absolutely beautiful sympathy card. Thinking of you, get well soon. We're going to layer that right on there. We have our little knot on the side there. This is completely secured to the card. And then what I'm going to do is just add one more panel right inside here. And I'm not going to adhere it yet because I want to stamp my sentiment without smudging it, which I did touch it the other day. So I touched it a little too soon. I had a perfect card and I thought, oh man. And that happens to me kind of frequently. So I'm going to use Memento ink. Excuse me. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just move this off to the side. I'm going to just put this kind of thing. I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. Because then what we can do is we can write something really beautiful up top and then just sending heartfelt thoughts. Kind of something different. Another thing you could do if you wanted to is you could take your stamp right here and just on the top we're just gonna, with whatever ink is left, just put a little stamp there. Now this one's a little bit modelly, so you would want to make sure that you had it nicely inked if you wanted to. But it just kind of gives a little bit of a color to the top. And then add this to our inside panel. You could also stamp some flowers, would be really pretty as well. There you go. And there's your finished card. So this is two different versions. One has the extra white panel, one doesn't. And then again, I just used this really pretty ribbon, metallic edge ribbon. This is silver. They do have this in gold as well. And you can color this with any of the Stampin' Blends. Any color that you'd like. You could have even colored this with the, you could color this also if you wanted to with the Fresh Fig marker, but it would be a little bit darker because the alcohol markers do tend to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more see-through. But two very beautiful cards. So thank you guys for watching. I'll put all the details on the blog with the measurements and everything. And if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email. You can follow me on Facebook and on YouTube and on Instagram at Rachthestamper, and you can find me and Rachthestamper.com for my blog. And any of these supplies and more are in my online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.